You're listening to Career Bootcamp, your supply chain career accelerated, a 5-part supply chain podcast series sponsored by IBM Watson Supply Chain and powered by Procurious. I'm Hugo Britt, the host of this series, which is designed to help you sprint outside of your comfort zone and get into the best career shape of your life. Featuring tips and tricks from some of the best in the business, we'll be discussing how to make it as a head of supply chain, the true value of professional certifications, how to persevere in the face of adversity, and what the future holds for the profession.
Today, we're joined by Laura Faulkner, CPO and Director of Supply Chain Management for Nationwide Building Society. In this role, Laura has brought together procurement, property services, third-party risk, vendor management, accounts payable, and offshore operations. Supply chain management's key focus is to maximize the value of third-party relationships across the society, leading the supply chain strategy to drive efficient, resilient, and innovative solutions for the benefit of all Nationwide members. Laura, my first question is, what are the major challenges impacting financial services supply chains at present?
Yeah, Hugo, it's a great question. Nationwide is the world's largest building society, and we have a very unique structure in that we are a mutual, which means that we are owned by our members. And really there is a clear emphasis here about doing the right thing. And this is one of the key attractions for me joining Nationwide in November 2016. We really are driven by doing the right thing for our members, while being financially safe, secure and relevant. Everyone is absolutely on the same page here. However, to your question, like all financial services organisations, we are facing a seismic shift with the rise of digital, the launch of open banking, and it's all set against the backdrop of tighter regulations and evolving risks in areas like cybercrime. It really is just a challenge to remain relevant in this ever-changing market, which means that we need to be balancing risk and rewards. We really do need to protect Nationwide and ensure that we're resilient moving forward, but also making sure that we're open to new ideas. And we need to move faster, and that means agility is key here as well. But being agile also doesn't mean you skip due diligence or increase your risk. Third-party risk is a really big area of focus, particularly within financial services supply chains at this point in time. There's an increasing understanding about how reliant we are on people that are not within our own organisations, and the regulators are very, very clear on that as well. Here at Nationwide, our board risk committee is also very interested in how Nationwide is managing. It's really the first time that I've seen third-party management be a board risk committee agenda item, and I've already presented this year updates on where we're going, which means as well that they are very keen to understand all of the challenges that we're facing just now, whether that be with our existing large-scale partners, some of the SMEs in the market, and then increasingly the fintech organisations as well. So we really are working just now on how we can manage this. I'm also collaborating with peers across financial services on supplier assurance in particular. And we really are just making sure that we're continually focused on making sure we're ready for the next thing that could happen within our supply chain, Hugo.
I like that you've got agility there to make sure you move fast enough, but also resilience when you get hit by something you didn't expect. So exactly. That's very important. So my next question, what are some ways in which CSDO can make a real contribution, not just to building up the function within their own organisation, but contributing to the profession as a whole?
Well, as a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Procurement and Supply, I really am very keen to take an active role in working across all industries and sharing best practice and learning from the best of who's out there. Exactly what we're doing on the Procurious Bootcamp this week. I'm always happy to speak about what our profession can deliver and actually, in quite uniquely a position as someone who has spent my whole career in procurement, I am keen to attract new talent into our profession as well. But I'm also keen to be seen as leading a team that supports the delivery of our business strategy, but doing it in a really collaborative way with stakeholders and suppliers. I mean, our suppliers and partners are simply an extension of our own firm. We have an ultimate responsibility. So the actions of our suppliers reflect on us. We really don't outsource this. And I think not only as a CPO here nationwide, I need to make sure that that's understood within our own organisation, but I'm actually very keen that we share that knowledge and the fact that our supply chain really is an extension of our own organisation. We can share that across other industries. To my own view, there is a lot that we can do within our profession to raise, I guess, the value and the reputation of our profession as well. And I think we've seen a lot of this happen this year, in particular with the collapse of Carillion in January. I think was one of the key examples I can give there. Carillion were actually one of Nationwide's biggest suppliers, and when they collapsed on the 15th of January, we really did have only two areas of focus, and one was to secure the services, which was everything from security, reception, data centre and maintenance, but also keenly to do the right thing by all of the Carillion staff that had served for Nationwide for a number of years. And really within the 6 days since the collapse, we insourced all 300 members of staff, and we directly contracted with the 160 subcontractors. And to me, sharing that kind of story and how we can really add value, not only within our own organisation, but taking some of those learnings and sharing them across other industries as well, is really important to me, because we've all got things that we can learn from each other. And really, as I say, it's very keen that we play a pivotal role within our organisations. We are that link to the supply chain. We do not outsource the risk the supply chain brings, and we have to take full responsibility. So I really do think that it's not just about, doing what you can for your own organisation, but it really is sharing best practice and your learnings across other areas as well.
And you mentioned having a team that with the capability to deliver on that for you. So this is a bit of a two-part question. What key skills are you trying to develop within your team, and what attributes do you look for when recruiting new talent? Yeah.
Well, I think like most businesses, we are going through an accelerated period of change just now. Our strategy, as you quite clearly said up front, is focused on the key areas of value, resilience and innovation. And really, with regards to the value, it's much about getting back to basics here, and really the skills that we need within the team are really about making sustainable savings for the organisation through efficiency, but also doing things in a smarter and better way. We really are needing to ensure that we are doing things sustainably. We have been doing a lot of work, as I would say most organisations have done, on category management. We've refreshed all of our strategies with a real focus on just making sure that we always understand the market, while it's aligned and understanding our own business strategy. Where is our business going? And obviously pulling together accurate spend data and the trend analysis as well. We are seeing areas of growth and new areas, new categories coming through, and particularly with regards to digital and cloud. And we've got team members who are solely focused on working within the organisation and actually helping our technology teams and architecture teams drive forward and create the blueprint for the organisation as well. So really not just doing a commercial role here, but looking at the technology, looking at the market. And these are the kind of skills that we need to be really looking at. The value really also comes from working with your existing supply base. We run quarterly supplier events here, most recently with regards to IT and our cyber strategies, where we shared them with our 15 key suppliers in this area. And we didn't present our strategies here as a fait accompli. We said this is where we've got to, this is what we think is happening. How can you help us? And it's certainly not all about cost, but how do we get these parts to drive? So we need my teams just now to be thinking about outside of the cost question. How do we get the clear new ideas? How do we start thinking about delivering in different ways for our members as well and driving that value forward? And really it is listening, and it is a real skill. It's having a team that is open to listening to what our suppliers have to say, listening to their feedback and the ideas that come from the supply chain as well. Innovation is absolutely critical to Nationwide, and if we are to support the delivery of our wider IT strategy in particular, we need to be working with many different types of organisations. And as you can fully appreciate, this is across the board, and our existing large-scale partners, these are SMEs, and these are the fintechs as well. And as I say, it's looking at exploring different ways of contracting, thinking about things in a more agile way. We've already said it before, and I know it'll have been talked through already this week, but the days of the mega deals are probably coming close to an end. There are more niche boutique suppliers out there that we need to be able to agilely work with, contract with at pace, and really work in collaboration and partnership. But I would say that the key attribute that I've always looked for is that curious mindset. We encourage everybody to take time to learn outside of the organisation, because I'll be really honest, if we don't know what's happening outside of our own organisation, who else will have the time for it? And you know, we don't need to be the technical experts, but we need to understand what is going on in the market. We need to bring that outside view in, because I do think if you're too internally focused, a procurement person, it can't be everything that you can give. It can't be the best value you're delivering to your organisation. And you know, really one of the key skills is networking outside of your organisation and really being that curious, listen, and having that different type of mindset.
And of course, it would be remiss of me not to plug Procurious itself when you talk about the power of networking outside of your own organisation. Yes, that's right. But Laura, how should we be positioning the supply chain function within our organisation?
Well, it's easier said than done, and in all the firms I've worked with, it's been something that we've always pushed for. But we really do need a seat at every relevant table, whether that be the investment boards, the strategy committees. You need to be part of the discussion, not someone brought up to speed outside of the meeting. We always know that. It's easier when you're sitting around the table to give your insights, to challenge, to support, and really be part of either the decision making or the strategy creation. I'm a great believer that it's always easy to get that first invite to a meeting. But if you want to be kept at the table, you need to be able to add something and bring some unique types of thinking. And going back again to what I was saying earlier about that curious mindset, we have one of the strongest links to the outside world through our current potential suppliers. Use it and we can bring insights and competitors and innovations. We've just at Nationwide announced publicly that we'll be investing a further £1.3 billion of investment in our new strategy, and we are fully engaged in making that happen. I've been working with the CTO here. We've been holding meeting strategy sessions with all of our key partners and investigating new possible supply chain partners as well. And it's that engagement and listening to what our suppliers have to say that will help us really develop the strategy further and ultimately deliver it. We at Nationwide, I've said already, we are a mutual. It means we need to do things in a slightly different way, and that does have an impact on procurement as well. We're not beholden to shareholders, so we have to price for our members' investment services, and the member value piece is really key, and that's where procurement comes in here. We need to positioning ourselves in a slightly different way. It is about spending our members' money wisely, because every pound is their pound, and we need to be able to hold our heads up and say that we're doing things in the right way. And we build our model around doing the right thing. So we do need to get involved in many different areas, and as I say, ensuring you've got that seat at the table and bringing that unique view means that I think you keep that seat as well.
What are you most excited about when it comes to the evolution of supply chain?
I think while we all need to understand that we need to keep the basics of procurement, like category management, supplier account management, really sharp, we also need to understand how we can help both deliver and drive the overarching strategy. And I guess that's a theme that's maybe come through in some of the things that I've been saying already. The speed of change has never been faster, and yet I was reading a great article the other week that quite clearly said it will never again be slower than it is today as well. So how frightening is that at times when we feel that the day just runs away from us? But we need to be adaptable and agile, and I can't say it enough. We need to be able to keep those basic tools sharp and stay curious. Every new firm, SME or fintech that we come across, my best advice here is store that information. That firm will become of use at some point. We've had some great examples over the last couple of months here at Nationwide of people we've come across. Really exciting about some of the things we can offer, but at that point in time we're maybe thinking we didn't know where we would utilise them within the organisation. You'll be at that meeting, you'll have that seat at the table, and then suddenly you'll be thinking, I know where they can fit. And it's bringing different people to the table, bringing different organisations and different ideas. And it's also, here we have said it already, I am really passionate about networking and sharing best practice, and sessions like this, the Procurious as a whole, ensuring that we're sharing our ideas means that as a profession we can grow, and as I say, talent will be drawn to us, and we will be able to help drive and deliver the strategies within our own organisations. Innovation is key here, and as I say, I am really passionate about bringing new ideas to the table for Nationwide. We have a real opportunity here to be key to opening up our organisations to the outside world and helping us become the client of choice, first in the queue for innovative ideas, and making it easier for our supply chain partners to do business with us, because that's the feedback we get. We don't want to be blockers, we want to be enabling and making things more collaborative, especially here for me at Nationwide.
And that leads me into my final question, which is about how we can better align ourselves with business stakeholders so we can become true business partners. So what advice do you have for others who are struggling to get recognition from the stakeholders who really count and senior management in the organisation?
Yeah, well, while Nationwide had never had a CPO before, it did have a really great team here, but there was a growing appetite, and particularly with regards to knowing that the agenda at Nationwide was growing, the challenges as we started discussing up front here about financial services and some of the challenges that we see in our supply chain. There was a growing appetite really to see what more procurement could offer. And as I say, it certainly wasn't for me joining a blank sheet of paper. There's a really good team here already. But the key thing is we needed to be ensured that we were linked further and deeper into the business. That was the key thing. I guess what we've been looking to do over the last 2 years in particular is making it easy for the business to engage and actually making it easy for them to do the right thing, and in our view, spend our members' money wisely. We need to hold a mirror up to ourselves within procurement as well. Stop moaning about maverick spend and breaches of policy. How do we help the business do the right thing? How do we help train them, advise them, and engage with them at a deeper level so that they can understand the impacts of some of the choices they want to make? But as I say as well, we need to offer services that are as good as we see in our home lives. I am a rather frequent online shopper, and you will see their online frictionless buying. How do we make that a reality at work as well, while putting all the safeguards in place to make sure we don't have excessive non-committed spend, but people know what they're buying. They're buying against really well negotiated master services agreements, and as I say, it becomes frictionless. I think it's more now about I think our business stakeholders are becoming increasingly savvy in what they expect from the department and the teams in procurement that they're facing up to. And from us, we need to, as I say, hold the mirror up and deliver a service that really matches what we experience in real life. We need to be more about being that business leader as well. I don't see myself necessarily as just a procurement person here at Nationwide, and I don't think any of the team do either. I think we are part of the business. We are all delivering to our best skills, and we're not necessarily pigeonholed. I think if we all could do that, we would definitely get more out of our own profession. I think within procurement, the skill sets that we have are so unique. I think we have so much to offer, and the fact that we understand the business strategy, we understand the market outside, and we're commercially driven. I just think bringing all that together is a unique offering, and as I say, that's when we become a true business partner, when that's on the table.
Laura, thank you so much for joining us today.
No problem at all. Thanks very much.
You've been listening to the Career Bootcamp podcast series, Your Supply Chain Career Accelerated, sponsored by IBM Watson Supply Chain and powered by Procurious. Head on over to the Supply Chain Professionals group on Procurious to explore lots more related content. If you have any questions for our speakers or comments about the series, you can contact us on Twitter using the hashtag Career Bootcamp or use the discussion board on Procurious itself. Thanks for listening.